Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the laws of love. The Laws of Love is the book by Emmanuel through two mediums, Waldo, Vieira, and Chico Xavier. In 1962, they psychographed the messages. In 1963, it comes to us to deliver the understanding of the Spiritist view on suffering. 8 chapters. The first chapter, Spiritual Causes of Afflictions, we have already covered, and you have the opportunity to go through all of it in our playlist on Facebook, YouTube, and later at SoundCloud. Right now, we're studying chapter 7, and we just skipped a few just to tie it together. Spiritual causes of illness, and now treatments of illnesses and spiritism. We've already covered question 1 of chapter 7, which talks about how spiritism can help us as being the medicine of the soul. Now, question 2, so interesting. It can be life-changing. It says, a question that was asked to Emmanuel. Is there a pathology of the soul? Is there a pathology? You may be asking, what is pathology, right? Okay, so let me give you here the official definition of pathology. Pathology means it's not exactly the field of science, but as a field of science, it's the science of the causes and effects of diseases. All right? So, but here Emmanuel is saying, is there, when we talk about pathology, it's the study of disease, understanding the causes of disease. The word pathology comes from the Greek word pathos, which means disease, and logos meaning, the meaning of disease. So the question to Emmanuel is, what's the meaning of the disease in terms of the reference of the soul? For material science nowadays, it's all believed that everything is material. You go to a doctor, they look at your body as if you have no feelings, no spirit, nothing, it's just a body. If you say, I have a problem in my throat, they only see the throat. I have a problem in my knee, they only see the knee. I have a problem. I know there are good doctors who are more holistic, but they are still minority. Majority of doctors are technicians, and we don't say this to put them down, but to say we need to change medicine. We need a new paradigm. It is certain, a new paradigm, and spiritism can be of great help. So is there uh, a cause for these pathologies, these diseases that are related to the soul? Be prepared, because the answer is unforgettable. He says, grudges, resentments, desperations, frictions, irritations, they create crises of the thought, establishing mental lesions that culminate in pathological processes in the body and in the soul when they do not convert quickly into madness, mental illness, and the shadow of death. Pause. Grudges, resentments, desperation, frictions, and irritations. What is this all about? Relationships. He is explaining to us that the secret to health is the health of our relationships. But what relationship? So we have a threefold relationship with God, vertical. Relationship with ourselves, within ourselves, and a horizontal relationship with one another. It's like an angle, our relationship with God, based on us, our relationship with ourselves, and then naturally the relationship with people. It is impossible to have good relationships, actually, if we don't have a good relationship with God. As Jesus said, love God above all things, love others as yourself. So, first, love God. Love God means, let's go to the Spirit's book by Kardec. First law of worship. It's law. And look at our earth. People are completely not compliant with this law. Majority of people. Because many people don't even care about God. And even if they say, I believe in God, but we don't live a life that is coherent with that belief. Because when I look at somebody and I see that person is created by God, I need to respect it. That's how I love God. By loving its creation. I love God so much that I love myself. How can I think of killing myself? If in a previous life we did it, now we know better. Suicide, homicide, indirect suicide is all a matter of lack of love for God, and for ourselves. Naturally, we don't connect enough with people. In the book Memoirs of a Suicide, we're going to see people who get desperate. They do, and they go crazy. So Emmanuel is saying desperation creates mental lesions. Mental lesions. Now, in the following question, somebody asked, why does it happen this way? Why? Why do resentment, grudges, desperation, frictions, and irritations create a crisis of the mind, mental lesions, and naturally diseases? The answer is probably surprising. He says, this happens because millions of individuals at home, they recapitulate bitter, grave experiences together with those that were tormenting in a previous life or were true adversaries in a previous life. Now they are metamorphosed, they are disguised in the roles of companions that bring the name of parents and become very hard adversaries. Sometimes they come in the role of children and they are there with us. Or spouses.
Yes.
Right? And this topic is so difficult, very deep for us to understand. Emmanuel is saying, um, we're going to find at home. Are we surprised that he's going to tell us that these pathologies of the soul are created mostly at home? You may say, no, Vanessa, I know. But he's saying, how do we create these pathologies? By the way we interact with one another. So he's saying, when we hold grudges, when we carry resentments, desperation, frictions, and irritations.
Yep, irritations, mostly irritations, because um irritations are very effective
Mm-hmm.
when making really bad problems.
Yeah.
and pathology.
Hmm. Yeah. So now I want to share with you a summary here so we can understand more deeply what Emmanuel is saying. Remember, he's giving us a quick booklet on the Spiritist view on suffering. So now I would like to share with you a few thoughts summarizing here for our understanding. So, pathology of the soul, he's saying, it begins with, this is very important. He's saying, when we hold grudges, five things: resentments, when we are in despair. So that's why we need to learn how to have a lot of faith, and frictions with people. And finally, irritations. Look at our social media nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Many people indulge in that, but at home, he's saying, that's where things are going to be developed. So if we want to create new health, we need to create a new environment at home. But you and I know that many of us encounter at home enemies of the past.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's time for us to learn.
Sometimes people in your family actually are people that might have killed you in the past,
Yeah,
who might have done something very irritating to you in the past.
yeah,
That is very bad, and that's one of the reasons, actually, that's one of the reasons why we don't remember past.
it's a blessing from God,
It's a
right?
blessing.
You know, Virginia, some people, they say, I think I want to do regression therapy to know what I've happened to me in a previous life. What do you think? And I say, I don't think it's a good idea.
Because you might see one of your family members killing you,
Or even yourself.
or even yourself killing you, and you're going to regret it for real. You do not want to know what's in the past.
Leave it in the past. But
Leave it in the past, but even though you don't know it, you have to
be aware.
be aware of it, but just don't think of it much.
Yeah.
Don't think of it much.
Now let's think about what do we do in this life to manage the emotions that we're talking about here. So emotional management here is very important. What do I do when I feel that somebody hurt me and I'm holding that grudge? It's like, oh, I can't believe that person did this to me. What is the remedy for it?
What is the remedy?
Starts with a letter F.
Faith
In God,
in God.
thinking. If God loves us and allowed this person to do this, it's because God trusts that I am going to overcome it and forgive
Uh-huh.
the person, because
And when
I
you
have hurt other
remember,
people too.
yes, and when you remember something from the past that you try to forget, sometimes you remember something you did in this life in the past. Sometimes it's good to forgive and forget it,
Exactly.
so you don't feel really bad about it.
Yeah. Yes. So, what about, thank you, Virginia, for your
You're welcome.
help. So, friends, the first two topics, grudges and resentment, forgiveness is the remedy. Is it easy? No. But a recommendation is this: we need to cleanse our mental field of those memories. Because sometimes say, I forgave, but I'll never forget. No. In the mental field, there are images. In the book Thought and Life, Emmanuel explains to us that we need to harmonize our mental field. If I do not learn how to archive, you know, when you put something in the archive, it's already resolved. But when it's there, it's still vibrating. So we need closure. Who decides on the closure? You do, not the other person. First, we don't take offense. Oh, but the person hurt me. Well, it's their problem, not yours. Not yours. Poor them. I remember Divaldo Franco when he was coming to Baltimore for a conference many years ago. And his publisher sent us several boxes of books to be sold at the event to help at the foundation and, of course, help the readers. But then when the boxes came, there was a box that was half empty and open, and the other one didn't come. Well, the post office said, oh, we don't know where they are. We talked to Divaldo, said, I'm so sorry. These books didn't come, and the other one. You think he was upset? He said, great. Somebody's reading them somewhere. See, always seeking the good. When we go to the book Paul and Stephen, how does Stephen, at death, being stoned to death, looks at the very man who ordered his stoning, Saul of Tarsus, whom he got to know was his sister's fiancé. Read the book. You'll be deeply, I think, surprised to see that he not only forgave, but he blessed the person. And he teaches us the trick. What's the trick? The future. He sees the divine in that person. Look at Mentor Joseph's technique. We're here in the present. This was the present for Stephen. He was being stoned to death. Saul of Tarsus ordered it. And Stephen got to know at that moment that his sister, whom he didn't know where she was, is Saul of Tarsus' fiancée. He talks to the sister, blessing them, and says, I can see in Saul the man who will be very helpful to Jesus one day. So he was already seeing Saul past this limiting moment. He was seeing Saul of Tarsus here. Amazing. Amazing. In our home, we need to see each other like this. We look at ourselves here, irritations, frictions, or our children doing things that we feel like, oh my gosh, they are on drugs. Oh my gosh, they. No despair. Mental lesions, diseases, mental connections that are not healthy. So, what do? Practice faith in God and knowing that God created them for better and visualizing them in the future when they will be out of those addictions, out of those stubbornness moments, or however thing we're facing, or whatever thing we're facing. So that's a wonderful exercise to overcome it and treat at prevention level, but also at remedy time, the therapeutics. Visualizing ourselves, even ourselves and others, one day when we'll be in harmony. Ebony and ivory, right? Being together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano. Keyboard, oh Lord, why don't we? Why don't we? Why don't we visualize ourselves past this moment? I know it's hard, but you know why you feel in your nerves? Not only because of us, because of the vibrations, the intensity of those vibrations. They string the cores of our perispirit. That's when we need some time apart, prayer, breathing, sometimes a shower, to allow those energies to be flushed away, not allowing it to be absorbed in our perispirit. Dear friends, today we're learning with Emmanuel the secret to greater health, harmony in our relationships. So, the exercise in the next 24 hours to prevent and or treat pathologies of the soul, ridding ourselves of grudges, resentments, despair, frictions, and um, irritations, patience, thinking everyone is a child of God. Why don't we just get along? We don't have to get along physically, because sometimes people don't speak to each other, but in our minds. Let us cleanse our mental body and be at peace. Closure. We need closure with people. So, what do we do? What do we do? Let us, in the next 24 hours, practice this mental cleansing, saying, today I am archiving and being at peace with all the difficult memories in my life. I close those chapters with God's love. Today, I archive the difficult memories that I've registered. I visualize myself at peace with everything and everyone in my life. Something along those lines. Vanessa, is it effective? Well, remember, thought is life. Words are very powerful. So, as we practice these affirmations, we let go. I let go of tensions. I let go of control. I allow God to bless our lives and say, I let go of these memories that are no longer useful to me. And I am at peace with everything and everyone in my life. And if you can, visualize yourself at peace with that person past this moment. One day, in the near future of our future, one day you will be friends. We'll be together in great harmony. Be together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we? So our health depends on the health of our relationships. The laws of love from God invite us to that. Thank you, friends, for being with us. We wish you many blessings, and until next time.